Hey everybody, what's up? KC here. I'm going to do a little short video this evening on the bike sitting behind me. 2017 KTM 350 EXC-F. Just kind of go over a little bit about the bike, show you a couple things I have on it. I mean, I haven't gotten too crazy with mods. I've had the bike for about a year. It's got a little over 1,000 miles on it, I believe. Prior to this, I had a 2014 350 EXC-F, and I purchased it new, and I put probably 1,200 miles on it. The 17 compared to the 14, it's 100% improvement. Better gearing, better power delivery, better ergonomics. And starting, my 14 was a bear to get started, especially in the cold weather or if it sat for any length of time. It was tough to get going. I mean, I wore a couple batteries out in situations where I couldn't get it going. This bike here, they got it spot on. I mean, it fires up. I've only ever had to use the high idle one time, and that was one that sat just here recently for 3 weeks without being started. But any other time, you just turn the key on and this bike fires right up. So it's been a great bike as far as that. But anybody that was thinking about either a used bike or a 17 used bike between a 14, go with the 17 if you can use the extra cash, because it is just it's 100% improvement over the, I love the 14 that I had, don't get me wrong. But this bike, big improvement over the 14. I'm just going to take you and go over what I've done to it in a couple of small mods. I mean, I haven't touched the motor. I don't even have a pipe on it. This bike has plenty of power for what I need. I mean, I'm not a racer, nothing like that. I mean, I just love power sports and grew up on bikes. So, you know, I ride it. Do I ride it hard sometimes? Yes, but I do a lot of little putt riding also in the woods with my boys or out with my wife on the side-by-side of the four-wheeler. But I'll show you a few things here, just kind of go around it and show you what I got on it. Okay, I'll kind of start up at the front here. Not much going on here. Now I did turn signals. I switched those out. Took the large factory KTM turn signals off and put these on. I don't even believe these just have a standard turn signal bulb in them. They aren't LED. I believe these are from Rocky Mountain, but I'm not sure what brand they are. I do have the Rocky Mountain bar risers on. 30 millimeter, I put them on just about everything I own, whether it's ATVs or bikes. I just like to have the bars up in the air. It gives me a little better feel because I do a lot of riding standing up. I'm probably standing up 70% of the time that I'm on the bike in the woods. Right now, I'm currently running the stock handguard setup with the KTM flex levers and the bar ends. Now I do, on occasion, I have a set of wraparound Enduro engineering hand guards, which I will put on in certain situations. And also, this is a 17, but I believe this shroud plastic is from an 18. I think I had purchased that and put it on sometime last year. I believe that is from an 18. I have the Acerbi skid plate down here. This is only a plastic one, but I have never had any issues with this. I've bounced off of rocks, a lot of logs, and it's still in great shape. No areas where it's worn through or anything poked through it. I have the little brake snake on there, of course, to keep trees out from going in the brake and locking it up and throwing you over the bars when you don't expect it. Also on the 17 comes with the fan factory. I had to purchase a separate fan for my 2014 and install it in order to have the cooling fan. I have the swing arm guards. I'm not sure what brand these are, if they're Polysport or Acerbi, but I put those on just to keep the black look going. Tires, I run the Trackmaster K760s. I have those both front and rear. These are a great tire in the woods as far as a DOT tire. For years I ran the Dunlop 606, and I love those. They're great tires, but these tires are better if you're doing 90% off-road and 10% on. One thing I will say is these tires, if you get a flat and you're not running tubeless, it's tough to get back home because they're going to pop off the rim. The 606s, I've ridden them home on the road at slow speeds without them popping off the rim, but they were enough to get me home. Now I do have tubeless in my back tire. That was just installed at the end of riding season this year, so I really can't say much about how it's been performing for me. I think I only have one ride on that, and I don't even have it installed in the front tire yet. I'm still running just a tube of slime up in the front. Oh, I do have on the front, I've always run on my bikes as the Sill Savers here. They do a great job. I mean, a lot of guys don't like them, but they do help me. And I honestly, I've never put seals on a bike that I've had. I haven't had any bike for a long period of time. Like I said, I don't race. I'm not taking this off 40 footers. I mean, I'm a fast trail rider, but they do well for me. I have the Tusk disc brake guard there. I put that on the middle of summer last year. It's doing good. Got a few nicks on it here and there and from bouncing off of rocks. Other than that, it's doing a good job. Here in the rear fender, I installed a Chair Beast fender extender here, mud flap, and these are the Rocky Mountain flush mount turn signals. Now, these don't fit on, as you can see. There's not a lot of room, but I like the look of this better than the Sick Ass Racing mud guard, because it comes down here lower and you have a large black area sticking down, and I didn't like that, so I chose to go with this. I think these are $30 or $40 on Rocky Mountain, and then of course your turn signals, but it's been working well. I mean, it's sturdy. I mean, the bike's been laid over a couple times and it's actually hit this and bent the license plate, but it hasn't broken, so it's holding up pretty well. I will say one thing that I do not like about the 17 compared to the 14 is the location of the seat bolt. If you can see it up in here, you have to take one out of each side to pop the seat off, and it's a pain. On my 14, there was one bolt up under the seat, up under the fender, excuse me, located here. You took that out and the seat slid back and popped off. I do not like that setup. It's easy enough to get them loose, but to get them out of there, you got to fish, and it's just, I don't like the setup. And of course on the 17, you have the air box right here. This you just grab, it pops right off. Your filter's in there, you can do a quick change, put it on. That's not a whole lot different than the 14. And as I mentioned, this bike from factory, it has great gearing. Now you're not going to do 90 miles an hour. The 14, you could do 90 miles an hour from stock, but it was terrible, you know, in the woods on single track and low end. You had to gear it down. As you can see, this one right now, I believe I'm running, that may be one tooth lower than the stock, because I think I was doing some single track, but I'm not sure. But I will switch back and forth. If I know I'm doing some slow, tight single track, I will put a one tooth smaller sprocket on the front. But other than that, I mean, you can get away with the factory gearing on single track. I just prefer that so I can kind of go between first and second gear if I'm on single track. I do have a Tusk kickstand. That's not by choice. This bike had fell over in the mud and it actually bent the factory kickstand, so I was putting an order into Tusk and I actually purchased the Tusk kickstand, so that's why that's on there. Of course, that performs just as well as the factory one. It's basically the same look and everything. It's just that I went with the black the black instead of the aluminum that was on the bike. I'm still running the factory tank on this. Like I said, I do not do a lot of long distance dual sport riding with this. I have a couple other dual sports which I use for that type of deal. If I want to go on a long ride, I don't use this. I use the ram mount for the double take mirror, which of course clamps on here, goes up there. Great, because I can switch that mirror back and forth from all the bikes. You bend it over when you're not using it. It's a good deal. Other than that, I think that's about it. Like I said, this bike, it's just, I love this bike compared to the 14. Now I can't say, I've never ridden a beta, so I don't know if it's better than a beta. I have looked at them, but I've never had one on the road or in the woods. But I decided to go with the KTM again. And like I said, so far it's been a great bike. Now when I brought this home from the dealer, in the first 100 miles, I did have the engine light come on, but I took it back to the dealer. They run it through diagnostics, and after that, I had never had it come back on. So, yeah, so there you go. That's a look at the KTM 2017 350. If I do any more mods to anything extreme, I'll maybe throw a video up, but just wanted to let you know, give you a little overview of it and tell you what I thought about it. If you have any questions or comments, put them down below, and if you like the video, like and subscribe, and we'll try to get some videos up pretty regular here, and maybe on a couple more of the bikes we have here, we'll get something on them, and you guys can check them out. Like and subscribe. Thanks. We'll see you later. KC.